I had never thought about that before, Toby. I'd never asked myself that question, like, what makes me think I need to be perfect? But the question brought the answer. I realized I didn't. Not everybody always goes there right away. Sometimes they still hold on to the belief like it's true. But for some reason, for me, I was able to see it wasn't true. And in that moment, I went from weakness in my arms, difficulty breathing, to being like, I could breathe in and my arms like got strong again. My shoulders swelled up with muscle because I had no muscle. It was like gone. But everything came back like very fast within like 30 seconds to a minute.
If your soul has been whispering that it's time to heal, this is your sign. Stepping into the Mirror is the book that helps you face your truth, reclaim your power, and rise into the life you were created for. Start your transformation today. Order Stepping into the Mirror now on Amazon. Link available in the show notes. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Mirror Talk Soulful Conversations. Today, I'm honored to be joined by a naturopathic doctor, author, and pioneer in the field of mind-body medicine. Having personally healed through the very methods now teaches, embodies what it truly means to live in alignment with the divine intelligence within us. He's the creator of the Vis Dialogue, a transformative healing process that bridges science, spirituality, and deep self-awareness. Through his holistic counseling certification program, he trains practitioners to help others release limiting beliefs and access the kingdom within. Welcome to the show, Moshe. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be on the show. Thank you.
I'm super happy that you made the time out to join me for this Soulful Conversation. And I'm happy that, before we start recording, yeah, that you've been to Nigeria before, where I'm from. You've been to Port Harcourt, and you reached out to the Igbo Jewish people. That's something I've learned today, that they are actually Jewish people living in Nigeria. And I don't know why I did not know about that. That's very interesting.
It was an amazing time of my life. I made some really deep, beautiful connections with people, and we shared, and they were interested in my book. I published a book in 2004 called The Letting Go of Free Will, a part of my series, The Last Four Books of Moses. And they really enjoyed the book. And I didn't know, but it sort of spread around the whole community. So when I came, they brought me there to like speak about the topics in the book. It had kind of spread far and wide across different sectors of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And from a Jewish perspective, that it was a wonderful trip.
Oh, that's awesome. What would you say was like your most memorable moment being in Nigeria? Like, was it the food you enjoyed the most? Was it the culture? What do you remember and owe dear to yourself from your time in Nigeria?
Culture, the people, so loving and warm and beautiful people. I was greeted with many gifts of getting chickens. I was given chickens.
Live chickens.
Live chickens, yes. And I was made a chief. I was
Really?
made a chief, actually, yes.
Oh, wow.
And when I was, I actually got in trouble leaving Nigeria because I was a chief, I was given ivory as also a wristband and a necklace made out of ivory as part of the gift. And I was stopped at the border because, ivory is highly illegal. And I said I was made a chief, and I told them the town where I was, and then they talked amongst themselves for a bit, and they said, okay, this is the only place where you can get ivory being made a chief, so you're okay. They let me go. But it was so memorable. There was beautiful dancing and singing. And, one of my most memorable things was with the family of Josiah Okike. Josiah Okike, he was my dear friend. He passed away a couple of years after I went, kind of a sudden death, but his wife, and daughter and son, David and Miriam, also were a big part of my trip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy you had a wonderful, wonderful time in Nigeria. That's awesome. That makes me
Thank
happy.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, the wife, I didn't mention her name. Her name is Victoria. I know it's not that important, but I just wanted to say that.
Maybe
Right.
she will listen to this podcast and she will like, oh, yeah,
I don't
you
know.
mentioned my
Why
name.
not? But I want wanted to know I'm thinking about her. So there you go.
Oh, that's so sweet. So before we go into the conversation, like I have a lot of questions to ask you about, accessing the kingdom within and how we could do that.
Yes.
I would like us to
Yes.
get to know you, through a game of wild card.
Yeah.
That involves just 3 stacks of cards, 3 levels. I'm shuffling the card right now as I'm speaking to you. That's my
Very
multitasking
good.
ability. And
Impressive.
so I randomly ask you just 3 questions, and then we'll see how it goes. Are you ready?
Very good. I'm ready.
So the first card I pulled out from the icebreakers level is, what is your favorite trait about yourself?
My favorite trait about myself. Okay. I think I'm gonna say intelligence. I have in my birth chart, astrological, I have 2 grand trines in air, which gives me like an ease in understanding concepts, spiritual and earthly. So I think that's probably one of my favorite traits about myself. I'm not saying it's my best trait.
Yeah.
I'm saying for myself, my favorite, probably.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Are you ready for the next question?
Level 2, I'm nervous.
Level
Confessions.
2,
Oh boy.
confessions. Yes.
All right. I gotta get ready. Okay.
It says, the question is, if you could bring someone back, what would it be and why them? If you could bring someone back.
Like anybody back from the past?
Yes, anybody back
Ooh,
from the
that's
past.
a tough one. There's so many. There's so many I would bring back. I want to say Jesus, Yeshua, but I'm not going to say Yeshua because I think that I believe actually that from this day on we have to find the Christ in ourselves. So we can't expect him to come and do all the work for us. So I'm not going to say him, even though I'd like to say him.
Yeah.
I'd like to say Nikola Tesla.
Why?
Because he basically knew the way. He had technology that would set the world free from slavery. And it was taken by the governments of whatever, and suppressed and hidden or controlled. And like he had ways of generating free energy. Like if energy can be created freely, then the world is really, like he said it himself, the world would be as freed from slavery. Because so much money goes into energy, transportation, fuel, and heating of your house, cooling of the house if it's hot. And imagine we had free access that across the world. It would dramatically change the control dynamic around power.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Maybe we'll have free electricity and free cheaper commodities basically.
I wish I could bring more people back. And then I just go on a rant telling you all the people I want to bring back.
There are a lot of great people that one could bring back to change the world and change the narrative right now. It's true.
Yes.
Are you ready for the last question?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So this is the Getting Deep card. The question is, what is the most painful thing you have been told?
The most painful thing I've been told.
Yes. Something that someone told you and you were like, oh my God, that broke my heart. Oh my, how dare you tell me that? Or something like that.
Oh, wow, that's a really good thing. Of course, I've been told many painful things. The most painful thing, I'm not sure. I could tell you a recent painful thing, like my father has some issues with his health now. That was painful to hear. And it's an issue that is difficult because it doesn't have much solution. So hopefully it does have a solution, but it doesn't seem like there's a solution. So that's the most recent painful thing I can tell you.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope it gets his healing.
I appreciate that, Tobi. Yeah.
All right. Talking about painful thing and illness, I know you have your own story of healing, and your story of healing is nothing short of miraculous. Like, it's wonderful what how your healing journey was. So I would like you to take us back to that moment. Like, what was happening in your life and what awakened this deep calling towards self-healing and naturopathic medicine?
Yeah, great question. So I was diagnosed with the rare autoimmune disease called myasthenia gravis in 1995. And what was happening in my life is I had just lost my grandfather. I had a very bad breakup with a girlfriend, and I had a bit of a falling out with a group of friends. So it was a hard time for me. and I developed symptoms of paralysis, muscular weakness, that I couldn't really move my arms very well. It was very hard for me to get out of a chair. Breathing was difficult. I had double vision, and I was very sick. And I went to this place called the Options Institute, which is like a healing center where they teach you about belief systems. And it was the first time I had really encountered any learning about belief systems. This was in 1995 still, right? Like basically the same year I was diagnosed. And within a half an hour, my life was changed of taking this healing program. During the session, during this few days that I was there, I had a personal dialogue done for me. It was called the Optiva Dialogue. And I was asked several questions that started from like, how are you feeling? Like, what's going on? And I got down to this idea that I basically came out with this statement: because I need to be perfect. That was my answer to some question. And then the next question was, what makes you think you need to be perfect? And that was like the question that really did it for me. That really helped. I had never thought about that before, Tobi. I'd never asked myself that question, like, what makes me think I need to be perfect? But the question brought the answer. I realized I didn't. Not everybody always goes there right away. Sometimes they still hold on to the belief like it's true. But for some reason, for me, I was able to see it wasn't true. And in that moment, I went from weakness in my arms, difficulty breathing, to being like, I could breathe in and my arms like got strong again. My shoulders swelled up with muscle because I had no muscle. It was like gone, gone. But everything came back like very fast within like 30 seconds to a minute.
Really?
Very
So
fast.
fast?
Very fast, spontaneous healing. Very fast. And it continued to improve. And I learned from that moment on something that has been my guiding light for healing others, because I work as a naturopathic doctor and I work with holistic counseling, is that the body reflects the mind. The body is a faithful puppy dog for the mind. If you say bad dog, then it feels bad. If you say good boy, and it's like, it's all happy, it wags its tail, it feels good. So for me, my belief was, I need to be perfect. And if I judge myself as not perfect, like I make a mistake or something, or I don't say something the way I should, or always I'm the judge, the jury, and the executioner in this equation, then if I'm not perfect, I was attacking myself. So I was like inside going, what's wrong with you? Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Being angry with myself. And so the body was doing exactly what I was doing to myself, which is attacking myself. And that's what autoimmune disease is. So I learned, for example, that in autoimmune disease, in the vast majority of cases, you will see a person having some kind of attacking of themselves, self-attack, guilt, blame, shame, suppression of anger against the self. These are the things we'll see that result in a body also turning against itself with the immune system. So that was a life-turning moment. And it was very, very healing. That really helped me recover from an illness which is supposed to be progressive, incurable, and potentially fatal. So that's not good math, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it very intriguing what you talked about right now, how powerful the mind is. Like, whatever is going through our mind, the body reflects it. And then
Yeah.
you have to have that dialogue with our mind, basically with ourselves, in order to be in a good state, like whatever state we want to have for ourselves, basically. Like, if you want to live a healthy life, you speak it to yourself and it happens. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
But
That's right.
I'd like you to go deeper into this dialogue. Like, how does it work? Like, what's this dialogue? How, is it like just speaking to a friend, speaking to the mirror? What's that like?
Well, the dialogue that I do is called the Vis Dialogue, and I learned based it on the Optiva Dialogue, but I have evolved it through 25 years of practice as a naturopathic doctor. I've deepened it. I've improved it. I've made it work for chronic illness and for naturopathic practice. And basically what it is, it's quite simple in principle, but it can be very challenging to apply. It's asking questions to get a patient to reflect deeper and deeper and deeper into their subconscious mind so they could see firsthand as a witness what it is that they're thinking and feeling that's contributing to their suffering, their illness, their problem. And it's different from a lot of regular counseling and psychotherapy involves expert opinion. It's like, I hear what your problem is. Here's what your problem is. You are archetypally suffering from the father-son syndrome, and you need to do this, or this is how you might feel about it, or this is how you should reflect about it. And so the idea that the therapy comes from the practitioner. But with the Vis Dialogue and holistic counseling, the therapy doesn't, like the practitioner or whoever is doing it is involved in helping, but the knowledge doesn't come from them. The knowledge comes from the patient seeing for themselves what their problem is. So the role of practitioner is to ask the questions to get the patient to reflect until they can see what their problem is clearly, without guessing, without being told. Like sometimes I have patients who see psychics, mediums, psychics that say, okay, I'm seeing, okay, your problem is this. And the person's like, okay, my problem is that. Well, is it true? Do they believe it? Is it true? Maybe not, maybe yes. But even if it is true, they haven't seen it for themselves, so it doesn't have the same impact. I've actually received many patients that have consulted with psychics and were told something. And I say, okay, well, interesting, but let's go into the questions and see what comes of it. Almost without exception, every time, what the psychic said had no bearing whatsoever on what the person's problem was. It had nothing to do with it. It may have been an aspect of the person that the psychic was picking up on, but connecting the dots between X disease or X suffering, let's say depression or anxiety or cancer or whatever, what the psychic said did not connect with the underlying problem. So this principle, I think, is one of the things that makes the healing so effective. It's that the truth has to come from the patient. And that's related to the kingdom being inside of us. This is how they relate, these ideas.
Like asking questions, as in you ask your client questions, and then for them to be able to access the answer within them, for them to be able
That's
to.
right. That's right. And they might say, let's say that we start with, okay, I'm having trouble sleeping. All right, tell me about it. Well, I get to bed and I can't sleep. What? And then I'll ask my first question: what's stopping you from sleeping? That simple question, and they'll say all kinds of thoughts are going on in my mind. Okay, then I'll say, what kind of thoughts? Like it's simple.
Yeah.
It's not always simple, but to begin, it's very simple. Oh, I'm thinking about work. I'm thinking about my boss. I can't rest. I'm thinking about my boss. What is it? What do you think about your boss? Like, we're just going deeper into the problem by these questions. And ultimately, when the person can see the truth of what's really bothering them, like maybe if we go down to the bottom line, well, they're thinking about their boss because their boss doesn't respect them and treats them like they're a piece of garbage. But it's not the boss's fault. They already feel that way. So the boss didn't cause the problem. Boss is just poking them in their subconscious where they already feel that way, maybe from their dad or their mom or a brother or a sister from their past. So then we help them realize that, oh, I'm actually feeling upset about the boss because that's how my brother used to treat me. And he made me feel like a piece of garbage. So then you go, okay, so it's not really about the boss, is it? It's about how I feel about myself. And this liberates the person from the attachment to what they think is what's their problem, right? Like they can't sleep because they're worried about their boss, but it's not about that. It comes down to, okay, how do I feel about myself? And ultimately, the goal there is to get to the truth, which is the kingdom of heaven lives inside of us. We are okay as we are. Each of us is okay, fine, no problems. We're good. But we forget and we get wounded and we believe things that aren't true. And that becomes our problem.
I love what you just said right now. Each of us are okay as we are. You have a kingdom of heaven living with us and living within us. And yes, we are perfect. I mean, we are good the way we are. Yes.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm just curious to know, is there like a manuscript, a list of questions? For example, if I'm home alone right now, for example, and or I'm with a friend and I want to go through this dialogue with the person, is there like a list of questions I have to ask? Is there like a manuscript I could make use of to have this dialogue with myself or with someone else?
There's a list of principles. So for example, like every person is different. So a manuscript wouldn't work. Like ask A, then ask B, then ask C. No, It couldn't work because everybody will give you a different answer to your questions that require a customized answer in each moment. So what you could have are principles. And I do share principles in my book, Holistic Counseling, Introducing the Vis Dialogue. So if a person is interested in learning from that, they can learn quite a bit. It's not the whole picture, but it would get you started. It could get you started to start asking these questions. And of course, I do actually train people to do this. I train them with the whole program. And I certify them when they have shown a proficiency in the V style in order to help people. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. From this conversation so far, I've learned that, that emotional suffering plays a very big role in chronic illness. Like you said, that the body just reflects what the mind is going through.
That's right.
And with this dialogue, we are able to then uncover this, like uncover the root cause, the problem.
That's right.
Is there a step forward that helps us to, heal from our limiting beliefs, for example, helps us to heal from the emotional trauma that we're going through so that, the healing can start, from there?
Yeah. Yeah. So, the emotional field, we could call it the field or the body. There's an emotional body. There's a mental body. It holds the emotional traumas from our past. But the deepest problem is in the mind. It's with the belief system. Because any emotional trauma, from it, we take a piece of mind. I don't mean peace, P-E-A-C-E. I mean a little piece of it, right? We take something in the mind, which is false, but we hold on to it. And around that, the emotional field can remain stuck in our bodies. When we release the piece of the mind, then the emotion goes, it's released. So there are many healing techniques which work on releasing the emotion. Like you can breathe, you can think about it, and you could cry, you could do certain like meditative processes. And that's good. But if the piece of the mind, which is traumatized and believing something false, is not released, then the emotional field will collect again around it. It will fill back up like a bucket. Like when people, let's say they become abused, let's say sexually, this is very traumatic for them. But humans are tough and we can recover. We could bounce back. If it's like the idea, if you get your skin is cut, the skin heals. So, if you sustain a trauma like sexual abuse, you can recover from it. When we don't recover from it, it's because of what we're thinking about in relation to it. There's some kind of insult. So in my experience, I'll see, for example, like the person can't get over, like, where was my parents? Where were they? They weren't there. That's not okay. And then they can't accept that reality. So then the trauma of the sexual abuse remains with them. And it's not about the sexual abuse. Yes, it is in a way because it's traumatic, but it's about the parents not being there for the child. And that's what's important for them to see. And in other situations, it's for example, it's, men also get sexually abused, but it's predominantly women. So like a woman is abused sexually and she goes into terrible self condemnation, attacking herself about the abuse because she judges herself that she was weak, that she didn't say something or fight against or cry out for help. Let's say I had an experience of this with one of my patients where she was released from her trauma because she realized that she thought she was weak, but she wasn't. She knew that it was actually the right thing to do to protect herself, to save her life, to not shout, to not fight. Right. So that helped her release herself from that. And it's not the abuse itself that becomes the problem, although that is what gets held on to. It's the idea that the person takes from it. Yeah.
The idea that one takes from that experience that one goes on to, yes. The emotion that one gets from that experience, that one goes on to and then causes issues in one's life.
Yeah. The emotions are formed, like it could be anything, pain or fear or anger or jealousy. But the problem, what holds the emotion in place is the idea, some belief system.
Okay, yeah.
So to release the emotion, we have to release the belief system that the emotion is held. It's like it becomes like the bucket itself is the thought forms that hold that emotion. Yeah.
And then to release that belief system or to release that mindset, one has to have that dialogue, basically, that's, helps you to see it in a different way.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It comes down to choice. Ultimately, we want to be asked the choice. Do you want to keep looking at it this way? Do you want to keep thinking this? Do you want to keep believing this to be true? Because then it goes from what we perhaps never considered, like myself. I never thought of the idea that I had a choice in whether or not I thought I needed to be perfect. So by presenting as a choice, and we have the power to yes or no with the belief. And if some people are like, yeah, I still want to believe this. This is working for me. Yeah, I want to believe I'm the best because I need to be the best, because then look, I'm the CEO of my company. And in such cases, I have to show the person, okay, but look, you're consulting me because of your stomach ulcer. And we made a clear connection between your stomach ulcer and needing to be the best. So do you want to keep being the best? So sometimes people are attached to the belief, but when they realize that it's causing their suffering, it helps them to detach from it and say, no, I don't want this. And then we work with letting this go. Like that's the resolution phase. Yeah. Yeah.
So earlier you talked about the kingdom of heaven within, and
Yes.
I'm getting to understand gradually from this conversation about how we access it, through this dialogue, through releasing that piece of emotion that we're holding on to that is causing trouble for us in our body and mind. Also, I'm getting to understand that this is a powerful concept rooted in both spiritual and psychological truths, like the kingdom of heaven within. Like as a Christian, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God within us, very spiritual to me. So I would just like to learn how you guide people to experience that divine presence within themselves, especially in times of fear and illness.
Okay, very good. I love this question. This is a great question. So I don't do it directly. Sometimes we talk about it directly. Like when I have Christian patients, and we could talk directly about it because they have this framework. And other people of other spiritual pathways, Jewish or maybe Taoist or something, Hindu, we can talk about God, no problem. But I don't do it directly. I don't say, okay, look within for the kingdom of heaven. What occurs is when we get to this core belief, it's a false belief. And it's a conditional view of themselves. Like, I am only okay if that's conditioned, if I'm rich, if I'm attractive, if I'm respected, if, right? There's a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
And this is a denial of the kingdom of heaven, because the kingdom of heaven is always okay. It's always there. So when we get attached to a condition, we lose touch with the kingdom. So when we let go of the condition, we naturally feel the glory of the kingdom in ourselves. You can feel the peace that comes from it. That's what most people feel. They feel peace. They can cry. They can feel joy. They can feel relief that they don't have to believe that anymore, or carry that. Ultimately, the primary experience of the kingdom of heaven is peace. It's like, I'm okay. I'm okay. Just like a very neutral place of okayness. It could be much more glorious than that, but it can just start very simple. Like, I'm okay. Wow. There we go.
I'm smiling right now because something's coming to my head. Like, let go of the peace to feel the peace. Yeah.
There we go. I like that. I like that. Catchy things like that help us to remember, They help us to remember. It's great.
Let go of those little pieces of, emotions that you're holding on to, so you can start feeling the peace of God within you, the peace that comes from being free from every burden that one is carrying about.
Because we've always been okay. Even when we forget, we go through life's trials, like inside of us, the kingdom of heaven is always there. But it can become like a violin, a beautiful violin in a very loud rock concert or something. All of our fears and our emotions become the rock concert, so we stop hearing the violin. But as we bring down all that noise, then we can hear the sound that's always been playing. We can feel the sound. It's the peace that exists. It can't not be. God's kingdom is everywhere, which includes in us. But because we were given free will, we can choose to think things that are outside of the realm of this peace.
Yeah.
And that's why we suffer, because we're choosing it. Now, as very often we're innocent children when we are making these choices. So it's like there are our mistakes, but we are innocent when we're making that mistake. We don't know any better. You know, a child chooses to believe that the world is against them because it seems that way to the child. And they're not in a place of wisdom at that young age to recognize the falsehood of that belief, but they cling on to it to survive, right?
Yeah.
Or if a child is being neglected by the child's parents, I've seen this is where the formation of beliefs happen a lot. The parents are not there. They don't care, or the child doesn't know. Like, why do my parents not care about me? I don't know why this is happening. I don't get it. They have no control over the situation, but they can control themselves and their reality. So they make up a story. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
It's me. That's why I'm neglected. I'm not enough. That's why my parents neglect me. That's how they try to wrap their head around a painful reality. But that's false. It was never true, but they thought it was true. So we make these errors in innocence that by recognizing, we can return to that place that we were as a child where we felt okay. We felt okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm connecting what you're saying right now to what you said earlier about conditional, I'll say conditional love or conditional, situations, basically. Like, okay, because
Yeah.
my parents did this, that is why this. Or if I were enough, my parents would not abandon me, for example. Yeah.
That's right. If I was just enough, if I was just more lovable, if that's a condition, then, and maybe I have to be more lovable by being beautiful or skinny. Some people it's skinny because they see their parents, they don't like when people are fat. And so they have to be skinny. Or it could be like, I need to shut up because my parents don't like that people to say too much, like, a child should be seen and not heard. So that could form the belief that in order to get love, I need to be quiet or skinny or beautiful or smart or whatever it is. Like these are the conditions that we hold on to and that we live our lives putting so much energy into trying to fulfill that doesn't really bring us true happiness, right? It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the message is let's go of every condition that you're holding on to, every yeah.
Everything that's
Anything.
conditional
Conditional,
about
yes.
ourselves, let it go and to experience what is unconditional.
Yeah.
That's what we're all after, that feeling of unconditional love, which God willing, we had as a child from our parents, maybe our grandparents. Not everybody has that privilege to be loved unconditionally by their parents because the parents are wounded themselves. But the state of unconditional okayness is available to everybody, even if they never got love from anybody unconditionally. Yeah.
Yes. God's love is unconditional. Yeah. And we can just hold on
Yes.
to that and get our healing. Yes.
That's right.
Our freedom.
That's right. Totally.
So, nowadays we hear a lot about, the end of days, basically. The end is coming. You see a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of people talking about it. I'd just like to learn from you, from your perspective, like what does this mean spiritually, from your perspective, and how might this moment in history be an invitation for humanity to heal and evolve?
Wow. Great question. So yeah, the end of days. Wow. I agree, by the way. I think I want to say I know, although I'm quite sure, let's put it that way, that this is the end of days. The signs are all there. The tension on the planet is all there. So, from my perspective, I think that it's all for the good. It's all for the good and it's all for God. In the beginning, when God was everything and is everything, there was nothing else but God. And there was a problem with that. The problem is that it's like if you only ever know one thing, then you don't experience that. So there had to be some like a mirror or like a separation so that we could compare and have experience of God. And so there was a descent into matter. We came into matter. We came into individuality. Human beings were created in the image and likeness of God. And we were given free will. And with that free will, we really separated ourselves from God. And we carved out this space for individuality. I think we're being called now in the end times to allow the Christ, to allow God's presence inside of us to reclaim the kingdom in ourselves. And so the end times is that struggle at the end before we arrive at the goal, at the destination, which is what the purpose of creation was in the first place. So God, I think it was God's will that all of this came to be, because through it, we will ultimately get to what the purpose was, is each of us experiencing God in us rather than God being one and like the great puppet master of everything that's in creation. And that those things don't know themselves at all. Like the angels don't understand themselves as separate from God. So they don't know themselves. They're an extension of God, but we know ourselves. So when we become like the angels again, we could say submitted to God's will, recognizing the unconditional love of God inside of us for all people, then the purpose of all the suffering and and all the problems we get into because of individuality is finished. Yeah. It's served its purpose. It doesn't have to keep serving its purpose by creating suffering. It served its purpose by creating individual space so that the Christ can inhabit each of us.
That's the end goal, Christ to inhabit each of and every one of us.
That's right. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the wall behind you, and that I can see be still and know that I am God. And
that's right.
It's something I say to myself a lot of times also, even through singing, also singing songs. And this verse helps a lot, to help you just calm down and just have the assurance that you are not alone in any situation. But I would like to ask you, you having it there also with you, I would like to know what it means to you, like how has stillness or meditation guided your own path towards inner peace and divine connection?
Yeah, stillness is the same as the unconditional nature of our God self, of the kingdom in us. It's experienced through kind of stillness. The stillness is peace. When we're still, there's no need for movement. It's like the Taoists have a great quote about this. Taoism, like the Chinese yin yang, beautiful religion. So basically, the Taoists say it like this: when, in the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is learned. In the pursuit of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Less and less is done until non-action, stillness, is achieved. When nothing is left undone, there's nothing to do, basically. I'm sort of paraphrasing a little bit at the end. But basically, stillness, meditation, like going into meditation and stilling the mind to just be in stillness, is really a shortcut towards the kingdom in us. Because when we can attain to stillness, be still and know I am God, be still and know I am that I am, then we can feel, then peace guides our thoughts and our movements. Peace is the center of our being. And then we don't contribute to more chaos, and we can be at our best, because then the energy that governs us, which is the highest, is what comes through us through stillness, not through effort, not through like my will be done. Like you can get a lot done like this, but you're going to get into trouble eventually with burnout, exhaustion, conflict with others, my will over your will, that kind of thing. So yeah, stillness, meditation, very good. And it's not complicated. It's just like, okay, I got all these thoughts going on. Do I need to think all those thoughts right now? Oh, yes, I do. Okay, what makes me feel like I need to think all those thoughts? Well, I got to do this and that and this and that. What makes me feel like I have to do this and that and this and that? So this is a way of getting to the emotional driver for why we're so busy.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there like a particular meditation practice that you have, like a very specific one that works for you?
Yes, there is. I've done many meditations through my life, but where I have arrived for the last many years has been in Kriya Yoga. Kriya, Kriya. So I do Kriya Yoga meditations. I do pranayama, which is a breathing technique. And then I move into a detachment meditation, which is like stillness. It's like I just sit there, and anything that comes up, I just detach. Meaning I don't jump on it. I don't try to follow it. If I notice myself straying off into thoughts and stories, I bring myself back into quiet stillness. And then I do a meditation of witnessing myself, my Moshe self, as an object of the witness, which is the kingdom, witnessing the ego. So this Moshe guy here,
Yeah.
I can see myself as an object that has to be seen by something that is beyond the object. Because the eye can't see itself, but the eye sees everything.
Yes.
And the ego can't see itself, so it must be seen by something. So that something is the I am, is the kingdom of heaven. It's seeing the object of the ego self, which is not the permanent self. Myself, I won't be this guy forever.
No.
Sometimes I hope I can, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I am forever. I am forever.
Yes,
Yeah.
and forever.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Actually, I've learned so much from you, from this conversation. Thank you so much for, shining some light on, what it means to heal ourselves through letting go of the pieces of emotions that we're holding on to. That's something that's going to stick with me, and I'm going to make use of. I just like to learn, or ask for listeners out there. There are a lot of people who are facing, chronic illness also nowadays, unfortunately, emotional pain, a lot of, spiritual exhaustion also, like in this day and age with the tension and everything going on. Where can they begin? Which simple practice or mindset shift can they open up to right now that will open a door to their healing right now?
Yeah. Well, they can say, okay, I'm feeling this suffering. And they could say, what's making me feel this suffering? And so maybe an answer comes right away, or maybe they need to pray about getting an answer. So if an answer comes right away, then they could look at the answer and say, well, do I need to continue to do this? We can all do this. So we don't need to suffer, but suffering's not bad. It shows us that something's wrong in our true nature. So suffering is good. So that's like almost step one, is stop looking at the suffering as a bad thing. It's a messenger. So what's the message? So we're trying to get to understand the message, right? So if you're open to understanding the message, that changes the whole ball game. Everything's different from what's this thing I'm suffering from? This is terrible, to, this is showing me something. So what are you showing me? And every soul that is earnestly asking that question will come to the answer. They'll get the answer. The Vis Dialogue, what I do, holistic counseling, helps accelerate that answer. It helps to get the answer faster. But we all can get to the answer just by asking ourselves that question.
What is this suffering or pain teaching me or showing me?
Yeah, that's right, because it is. It is. It has to be.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So for people out there who want to work with you, maybe want to, take part of the certification program that you offer, maybe ask you more questions that we could not ask during this conversation, or just, seek some for more guidance, what's the best way to connect and work with you?
Okay, so you can go, I'll just give you one of my websites. It's the easiest way. It's Dr. Dr. -,
Yes.
OSHE, my name, dr-moshe.com. And there you can reach me for personal healing, or if you're interested in the training, on that website, it says training. And then you click on that and it brings you to the training page, which is my certification. That's the best way to reach me.
Awesome. I'm going to place a link to your website in the show note of this episode. So I encourage everyone out there who is interested, wants to reach out to Dr. Mbe, should, click on the link, copy the link, and, you can, on your website, there's also more information about what you've talked about also so far. They could read more, and if they have questions or want to take part in the training, they could reach out to you through the training tab on the website too.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Tobi. It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it very much.
Thank you so much. It has been a blessing speaking with you. I've learned so much from you, and you've deepened my knowledge on a lot of things. And I hope that everyone out there who is listening will get the healing that they deserve, and the freedom and the peace of mind that they deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.